All right, Yankees fans, I know this was not the best weekend ever, but there are plenty of reasons that the Yankees should be optimistic, that things can still get better, that we are 25% of the way through the season, and the Yankees are in first place, and they're probably going to get stronger. Now, they did lose Giancarlo Stanton. He's going to be out for a while. But I still think the Yankees are in good shape, and there's a lot of reasons why. But first things first, let's talk about this very bad, no good, horrible, terrible weekend the Yankees just had against the Tampa Bay Rays. This is about as bad as it gets without getting swept, folks. So the Tampa Bay Rays won 96 games last year. They're a good team. They're going to really contend with the Yankees over the course of this 60-game season. They're very, very good. Now, their offense isn't amazing, but their pitching, their shifting, their analytics, all top-notch, which is incredible because, they don't really have much of a payroll. They're a really low-budget team, but they find a way. So you got to give them props. So I have respect for the Rays for that. They seem to do it the right way. Now, Friday night, Masahiro Tanaka comes into the game. He had gone 2+ innings in his first start. Was not terribly impressive, but his velocity was up. He was throwing more fastballs. It was going to be interesting to see what strategy he went with against the Rays. Was he going to throw the fastball more? Was he going to throw more sliders? Well, he did throw the fastball quite a bit. He also threw quite a few sliders, not as many splitters as we're used to, but his slider was terrific. His slider had amazing movement all night long. He throws 5 shutout innings, gives up just 1 hit, but the Yankees did not bring their bats, and they get shut out 1-0. Now, this is a team that doesn't get shut out very often. And it's just a credit to the Rays to how well they pitched the Yankees lineup. But this Yankees team, I think they only got shut out once or twice all of last season. So you're expecting them to score runs most nights. And Friday night, they just didn't. They just couldn't break through. They had some guys on base. That's the one flaw in this walk or home run strategy. If you're not hitting home runs, but you are drawing walks, you get a lot of guys on base, but then, you don't really do much into it and do much with it. And it can lead to a lot of frustration. You can have a lot of rallies that get killed. Now, Saturday, Garrett Cole gets the start, and you're expecting him to be the ace that the Yankees need and shut down the Rays after the Yankees had lost 2 in a row. They lost on Thursday night to the Phillies 5-4. And then following that 1-0 shutout loss, you're thinking, all right, Garrett Cole needs to come out and shove it. And he did, for the most part, for about 4 2/3. Then he ran out of gas, which, it's happened the last couple times. He's left the mound shortly after 100 pitches. So he's clearly not 100% stretched out yet, but his stuff on Saturday was as good as we've seen it. He had 10 strikeouts. The slider was about 90 miles an hour. The fastball was 95 to 98 with really good up-in-the-zone spin rate. He was blowing it by guys. So Garrett Cole looked good. Problem with Garrett Cole on Saturday was that they were fouling off a lot of pitches. And he was, at points falling behind in counts, or, he would get guys 0-2 or 1-2, and then the count would work its way back to like 3-2. And so his pitch count was really up. And I think he ended up throwing, about 107 or 108 pitches in 4 2/3, which is not good, not ideal. But ultimately, the Yankees do win the game. Aaron Judge hit another home run. Giancarlo Stanton hit a home run. So that was good. That was a positive. But then in Game 2, Giancarlo Stanton gets hurt. And I'll get more into Giancarlo and why he frustrates me in a minute. But the Yankees lost Game 2, 5-3. That's a game that I felt like they should have won. They really should have won that game. So Game 2 of the doubleheader, Mike King is on the mound, and he just had no control from the get-go. His final line was 3 2/3 innings, 1 hit, just 1 hit allowed, 3 earned runs, 5 walks, 4 strikeouts. Now, I like Mike King's stuff, but he's got to do a better job at throwing strikes. Avalon came in. He walked a couple guys. Abreu came in, made his major league debut. He walked a couple guys, had a couple of strikeouts. He had good stuff. He had really good stuff, just needs to command it a little better. But, major league debut. And the umpires weren't helping us out this weekend either. The umps were just crap. I'm ready for robot umpires. I really am. It's going to be the same for both teams. So, I mean, you'll take away that human element, but you also make the game 100% fair. So, and plus, umpires are terrible. I mean, the human element is overrated. They get things wrong. I want the call to be right. I want the strike zone to be right. I don't want balls called a foot and a half off the plate a strike. Ben Hiller came in to finish out the game, but the Yankees lost 5-4. They out-hit the Rays in this game 8-5, but lost 5-3. And this is the game in which Giancarlo Stanton came out after one at bat, actually two at bats, one at bat and one plate appearance. He was 0 for 1, taking his average down to 293 with a 1.038 OPS. So he was off to a very good start. But now we're going to miss him for a while. So apparently over quarantine, shutdown, lockdown, whatever the hell you want to call it, he worked with Eric Cressy. He lost 20 pounds, he said. He changed his diet. I don't know in what way he changed his diet. Maybe he went vegan. I don't know. I don't know what he did, but he lost 20 pounds. But clearly it did not work at this point because just 15 games into the season, he pulls his hamstring. What a shock. He frustrates me. I mean, when the Yankees got him from Miami, a lot of people thought, okay, this is a bad move. He was coming off of a season in which he hit 59 home runs, and he was an MVP, but the guy had trouble staying healthy for his entire career up to that point, really. And he's a big guy, so there's a lot of pressure on those legs, and it makes you wonder, what's the future for Judge. But you figure that at least as a DH this year, you could save those legs a little bit and let him get his hacks. What happened was when he took an extra base on a ball in the dirt, same thing that happened last year. He took third base, or he tried to take third base. He was thrown out when the ball got away. He needs to stop trying to make things happen with his legs, because his legs fail him when he tries to do that. If you remember last year, it was when he went to third on it was some kind of miscue, and he ended up hurting his knee, missing 2 months. And then, the other day, taking second on a wild pitch or a ball in the dirt, pulls his hamstring. It's a grade 2, so he's going to be out at least a few weeks. When he tries to really push those legs, they seem to give out. He's in there to hit the ball out of the ballpark. He's in there to hit those 483 feet home runs, 483-foot home runs. That's what you're in there for, Giancarlo. That's why you get paid $20+ million a year, not to take second base. And I get it. It's part of the game. It's baseball. You got to be able to do all aspects of baseball, but clearly you can't do that anymore. You are no longer Giancarlo Stanton. You are Albert Pujols. Drive in runs, hit home runs, stay healthy. You just can't do it, and it's frustrating. But I'm pretty much over Giancarlo Stanton at this point. I think they've got some other guys who can fill that void while he's out. They've got the Mike Fords, they've got the Miguel Andujars, they've got the Clint Fraziers. I think you can use some combination of guys to make the right matchup. You can also give guys days off. Put Aaron Judge at DH occasionally to rest his legs. I mean, this is a tough schedule. 60 games in 66 days. Probably more than that now because of the double headers. But really, it just comes down to, the matchups. Stanton is a good hitter, but he is a kind of a duplicate of Aaron Judge, a big, tall, right-handed hitter with power. It doesn't hurt to have somebody who's a little different. A Mike Tauchman in there who's a left-handed bat who can, pick up the base hit, who can do things on the bases. A Clint Frazier he's a little bit smaller of a frame. I think Clint Frazier's about 5'10", 5'11", but he's also got a ton of power. But that creates it's a tougher spot to pitch to because it's a smaller zone. And he's very, I would say that Clint Frazier is probably a bit more selective at the plate than Giancarlo Stanton. I don't have any stats to back that up. I don't have any metrics. Somebody might comment, you're totally wrong on that. I'm just going off of the eye test on this one because I'm just kind of riffing. But to me, when I watch Clint Frazier taking at bat, he's trying to get a good pitch to hit. He's working the count. He's trying to put himself into a hitter's count. Giancarlo Stanton is hunting for a mistake. He's hunting for a mistake over the plate. and occasionally he gets fooled on sliders. Now, everybody gets fooled on sliders sometimes, but it seems like Giancarlo does a lot of waving at those sliders. But again, he's got a 1.038 OPS, so it's working out for him. But it doesn't work out so well when you're on the IL every season. Game 4 yesterday, I was not confident coming in because James Paxton had been shelled in his first 2 outings, and I thought this might be his last chance to step up before he goes to the bullpen or gets taken out of the rotation, and he did step up. His stuff looked better. His stuff got better as he went along, as he got stretched out and more comfortable. There are people who study the release point of the pitchers every single time, and his release point had been down for the previous 2 starts, but it was back up slightly yesterday, and his numbers were up. His fastball was more 93, touched 94 a couple of times. It wasn't its usual 95 to 98, but it wasn't its 91 to 92 that it had been in its previous starts either. He did have some 92s in there, but he was mostly 93 in my opinion, just from watching. But he did strike out 11. He went through 6 great innings, and then he ran out of gas at around 80 pitches in the top of the 7th. I thought Boone was going to take him out. I thought 6 strong innings from Paxton, 11 strikeouts, no runs. That's a great place to leave his confidence. But yeah, he ran him out there for the 7th. He gives up back-to-back home runs, ties the game. They bring in Jonathan Holder. He struggles a bit. I can't believe Jonathan Holder is still on this team, although he is the only Yankee reliever who didn't allow a run yesterday in 1 2/3 innings. But I thought the Yankees had released him a couple times. I can't believe they keep bringing him back. His stuff just doesn't look impressive to me. I get that, his numbers aren't bad, a 0 ERA this year, but I don't know how he does it. Smoke and mirrors, he was bad the last couple times with New York. Maybe he's figured it out a bit. But with Holder, he had that one outing in the minor leagues where he struck out like 11 straight guys or something like that. And he was kind of a, underrated prospect. He comes up, he does well out of the bullpen. Then he struggles last year or the year before. I can't even remember at this point. He gets released. And then now he's back and he's pitching better again. So that's good. He's one of those spin rate guys, I think, that just kind of fools hitters with his spin rate and the life on his pitch. But Britton comes in and struggles with his command a bit. He walks a guy, gives up 2 hits, and the Rays walk off the Yankees yesterday. So I know everybody's panicking. The Yankees are now 10-6. They are still in first place in the American League East, and we are more than a quarter of the way through the season. And the Yankees are headed home, but it doesn't get easy because they got the Braves coming into town, and the Braves are a good squad. But I'm going to tell you why you shouldn't panic over what you've seen from the Yankees so far. After all, if you extend this out over the course of a full season, it's 160, right? Just a factor of 10. And, that's a pretty good season. The Yankees won 103 games last year, but I think they're only going to get better from here on out for a couple of reasons. One, Gleyber Torres is about to get hot. He has done nothing this season except for that one game in Washington where he hit a home run and he won the game with a base hit. He looked like he was about to get hot, but then he got cold again. He got hit by a pitch. I think that was hurting him and affecting his swing a bit. Guys have all sorts of other reasons why they could go into slumps. It could be one pitcher can throw off your timing. You might have one bad swing and it sticks in your head for a few games and it just throws you off, right? But Gleyber took a ball to right field yesterday that he kind of really waited nicely on and just went right through the ball and took it to right field. Big hit, big double. So I feel like now that he's using right field, which is where he's more comfortable and he's kind of out of that pull zone, pull happy mode, I think going home and starting to use right field more is only going to, be a good combination for him. So if he goes deep, look for it to be to right field, to right center field over these next couple games. So I think finally Gleyber Torres is going to get hot. I think Sanchez, just by the law of numbers, has got to get hot and got to run into something at some point. So far, he is, let me pull up his stats for this season. He is 4 for 39. Wow. With 1 home run and 3 RBIs. He's got a 427 OPS. Let's see how many times he's struck out. He has struck out 22 times in 39 at-bats. Oh, my God. Oh, maybe he, he needs a new approach. I don't know. But I'm really worried about Sanchez at this point, but I think statistically he's due. If you believe in due, as Michael Kay says, then he's due. He should be coming through at some point with a hot streak. But he's just looked awful. He's swinging through fastballs. He's chasing sliders. He looks bad behind the plate. Now, the metrics say that he's getting more pitches called as strikes, which is good. That's good for the pitchers. But he's swatting at balls. He's kicking shit. He's missing balls completely. I don't know. I mean, I've been a big fan of Gary Sanchez, but my patience is thinning with Gary Sanchez. But if you believe in Dew, then he should be about ready to get hot, maybe going home. He'll feel more comfortable. Now, it will help him that there are no fans in the stands because they'd be ragging him when he got back at this point. So in summary, I think the rotation is pretty good so far. Garrett Cole has been as advertised. He's getting better. James Paxton got off to a rough start, but yesterday was a really good sign for him. Masahiro Tanaka looks the best he's been in years. Jordan Montgomery had one bad outing, but I'm still confident because he was so good in his first outing and in the scrimmages, and all the reports are that he's been excellent. I think he just struggled with command. And J Happ, look, he's over the hill. You know, he still has potential to pitch well, but he's also going to pitch poorly at times. But the Yankees are lucky that they have some, well, not lucky, it's, you know, they developed these guys. They have some young guys in the minors. They have Clark Schmidt, they have Deivi Garcia. Both of those guys are pretty much ready. Deivi Garcia is probably, you know, a little further away than Clark Schmidt, just in terms of command from what I've seen. Mike King, we saw get a start. Jonathan Loaisiga has been great as an opener, so I think the pitching is okay. Looking ahead, I think, you know, we're going to see some guys get hot. We're going to see Glaber get hot. We're going to see Sanchez eventually come around, probably. Luke Voigt still swinging the bat very well. Aaron Hicks still hasn't gotten hot yet. When he gets hot, you'll know it. So I think the Yankees have a lot of reasons to be positive and optimistic over the next several weeks. Okay, so please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.